Welcome, everybody. Clint here today to discuss a pretty controversial topic all about guns in the United States. This is a little different than the typical content that I put out, but I figured after reading this article on MSNBC titled, "The Secret Service Didn't Fail Trump on Sunday, America's Gun Culture Did," and after seeing the call for more assault weapons bans and things like that, I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and dive into this topic and discuss a talking point or discuss a question that I posed to you, the viewer. Would expanding gun control in this country actually prevent crimes like assassination attempts on political candidates, like school shootings, like apartment complexes being taken over by criminal gangs? Would more gun control actually stop these things from happening? Let's talk about that. And let's also talk about this article from MSNBC. And when I take a look at this article, and I did read through all of it, and I got to tell you, a lot of it is factually incorrect. A lot of it is just fear mongering, I think. A lot of it is ultimately an emotional response without logic and without fact. And for instance, the very first paragraph talks about school shootings. Talks about, and I quote, "We can't keep the most vulnerable among us, our school children, safe from shooters. And now we can't guarantee the security of the most protected high-ranking officials in and around our government." Aren't there calls for Donald Trump to have the same protection as the current president, who is MIA, by the way? So that's kind of funny. But also, you want to talk about our school children being the most vulnerable among us. You're absolutely right. They are, and they shouldn't be. Our schools should be hardened. At the end of the day, evil exists. I've said this multiple times throughout my channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you have opposing viewpoints, I encourage you to actually partake in constructive conversation down in the comment section below. If, however, you're here just to, I don't know, as I've seen in comments before, say things like, "My children should be killed by AR-15s, or I should unalive myself because I own such terrible items," you are the problem. You're actually furthering my reason to arm myself and be more proficient and seek training to become as proficient, as efficient with these firearms as possible, just in case one of you psychos and one of you unhinged individuals decides to make a move at me. I even had a family member years ago talk about wanting to blow up the NRA headquarters. Excuse me, sir. You're the reason I want to own a gun. Congratulations. You and 9/11 terrorists have something in common. You want to ultimately kill innocent civilians. Good job. But you see, the mentality of these people is they don't see them as innocent. They see it completely justified to be able to kill these people without question, just because of how they think or what they believe or what they say. And that's what the real problem is. It's not guns in this country. It's the degradation and downfall of our society and respecting one another, and actually just respecting one another for just being American. Look at our history. Look at all the things we've overcome. As a nation, we have done incredible things. Of course, we can look at slavery, right? Everybody wants to point fingers at slavery. Oh, look at how terrible this country is. Everywhere in the world has had slavery in one form or another, of one type of people or another. We actually fought a war to end it. And we did. We led the way on that. So let's quit using that one for one. But let's just be proud Americans that respect one another, and we might actually see less of these disgusting acts take place. But instead, what are we getting from, well, the mainstream media, and which is why I believe it's ultimately failing at this point. We're starting to see the rise of independent journalism, which is superior in my mind, and podcasting and all that. But what we're seeing is this current administration, mainstream media, ultimately referring to political candidates as threats and comparing Donald Trump to Mussolini and Hitler, and actually not even comparing, making him sound worse than. No wonder you've got unhinged people willing to take a shot at him, especially when it's being shoved down their throats every single day. Not even 2 days after this latest assassination attempt, Hillary Clinton goes up there encouraging media to be objective, which That's laughable. And to press Trump harder, I mean, this last debate should have shown us what a joke that is. I digress. But no, getting back to our students, you're right. They are vulnerable. They should be much better protected than they are. We should harden our school. That's why I absolutely love the company Fold AR. They want to make it so that police officers don't have to store an AR style rifle, a carbine in their vehicle, which is unsecure if you ask me, but on their person, and making it very easy to engage a threat if and we need to look at when it might appear. Evil exists. Evil exists, and how you stop evil is by combating it with overwhelming force and violence of action. It's just the reality of what is. And it's not just in this country. We see it everywhere. Actually, the largest and most deadly shooting to ever take place didn't happen here. It's not a gun problem. It's a societal problem. It's a mainstream media problem. And you want to talk about further expanding gun control that already exists here, by the way. This latest attempted assassin, he was a convicted felon out of my home state in North Carolina. Convicted felons in this country, well, they can't have legal possession of a firearm. That's illegal. Actually, reaching out to a foreign country like Iran and asking them to execute the former president or assassinate him, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably illegal too. Scratching the serial number off of already a serialized firearm, yep, can't do that. That's a no-no. Brandishing a firearm, pointing it at somebody, yeah, those are also, that's illegal. So at the end of the day, we already have laws on the books that are doing what exactly? And further expanding laws only affect the law-abiding. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard that only criminals are going to be the ones left with the guns if guns are outlawed. Just like law-abiding citizens are being the only ones that are abiding by the law. It's kind of funny, isn't it? As I scroll through and I look at this article, there's the reference of assault-style weapons, whatever that means. Assault-style weapons. Assault rifles exist. They are select fire in nature. They look similar to what I have behind me here. But these aren't assault weapons. My hat I can assault somebody with. But these are not assault weapons. They're not even assault rifles, which is, honestly, I would love for them to be. But they're not. Assault rifles are select fire, right? They look similar, like I've said, but for every function of the trigger, multiple rounds go down range. So I pull the trigger, bang, 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 I let go, it stops shooting. Semi-auto, which is what all of these are, bang, bang, bang. One function of the trigger. That's it. ATF has defined that one. And speaking of the ATF, this article, this author, says that we need to actually increase the funding and expand the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, because this isn't a, dare I say tyrannical, yes I dare, agency whatsoever. They haven't overstepped in any way, except that they have multiple times and have been defeated in court multiple times because they're not a law-making entity. There's actually only one, and it's called Congress. What they have done ultimately is look to overreach to the point where they make millions, if not tens of millions, law-abiding citizens, felons overnight. Expanding the ATF, they're talking about here it's woefully understaffed. The ATF shouldn't exist. I think that's probably a topic, a talking point that might be lighting up in the comment section right now. And I want to say this. If you are commenting and you completely disagree with me, I encourage you to participate in constructive conversation. The moment you start threatening or saying that I should unalive myself or people who think like me, whatever, should go play in traffic, whatever it might be, you've lost your argument. That's it. You've lost your argument. There's no way you're going to persuade me or even help me see from your point of view. And I hope that I can help you see from my point of view a little bit. Because quite frankly, we look throughout the course of history, and anytime you start to see gun regulation, gun registration, gun confiscation, what we see actually is in the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of lives of lost because of their governments. But how many times throughout the course of history have we seen government incorporate gun control to the point where it's gun confiscation And then all of a sudden we see true tyranny and genocide and the massacre of their people throughout history. It's not always just with firearms either. But like I said, what we're missing out in this country is respect for one another. And that's why we're starting to see such atrocities take place. One of the things I thought was kind of funny in this article as well is that talk about victim blaming, which is ironic coming from the mainstream media. They actually blame Donald Trump for his assassination attempts. I've seen that in not only MSNBC, but this current administration, saying that he is a threat because of January 6th and that insurrection. Are you serious? That he actually did nothing to curb guns. That's what it quotes here and what Trump, as it states. Actually, I'll just read it right here. There's irony in the fact that Donald Trump in February promised at the NRA convention that if reelected, no one will lay a finger on your firearms, and boasted that while president, he did nothing to curb guns. Now, Trump has been the target of 2 attempted assassinations in close to 2 months, while both assailants carrying an assault-style weapon. The man who brags that he did nearly nothing in the face of horrific mass shootings during his term should realize it's time to act. All of this ignorance, all of this pleading to emotional responses. It's not right. It's vile, if you ask me, because at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is strip Americans, law-abiding citizens, from their right to be able to defend themselves from those that aren't willing to abide by the law, criminals. As I mentioned before, we saw criminal takeover, gangs take over apartment complexes in Colorado. Are you kidding me? And I wonder if the firearms that they're carrying were legally acquired. I seriously doubt it. The firearm that was recovered, that AK-style rifle that was recovered at the scene of this latest assassination attempt. You think that was legally acquired? I wonder why the serial number was scrubbed if it was legally acquired. So yeah, let's have that conversation. Gun control, does it work? I think we've seen more death by gun control throughout the course of history than we've seen it actually help. So again, sound off down in the comments section below. What do you guys think? This is, again, outside of the norm of what I typically post, but I feel like it would be irresponsible of me if I didn't make this video. God bless you guys. I'll see you down in the comments section.